reporting on the topic in April. Mr. Gordon, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here, Joy.
So let's start at the end of this. You saw that Michael Cohen today, who hasn't talked a lot since his sentencing,
Right,
again denied ever having been, not just in Prague, but in the Czech Republic at all. What is your response to that, having reported on this?
Well, Bob Mueller's in a pinch because he's got an acting attorney general who now oversees his investigation and has harshly criticized it. He's got a nominee to be the permanent attorney general in Bill Barr, who has harshly criticized the investigation. And so one would think that Bob Mueller wouldn't want too much about his investigation getting out in the public. Former prosecutors have said that this is actually a standard practice for a prosecutor to...
No, but Cohen doesn't have to say anything. Cohen could just say nothing.
He could say nothing.
But he's saying he definitively was not in Prague, was never in Prague, ever.
And all I can say to that is we're just going to have to see how this sorts out because Michael Cohen, as we all know, has been convicted of lying about his dealings with the Trump Hotel in Russia. Mm-hmm. He's been convicted of being deceitful in a number of ways. And so his credibility is not high. We're going to have to we have to follow what our sources that we trust and have developed over this 2-year period mm-hmm. have told us.
Well, let's talk about the sources a minute. Obviously, you're not going to tell me who your sources are, but let's talk about what they have told you. If there are intercepts that put Michael Cohen's cell phone in Prague, one would think those would be fairly specific. But the reporting in McClatchy is that they were either in August or September. How would they not be more specific if these are actual intercepts that show the phone pings? I
think they are more specific, but unfortunately, we weren't able to pry that out of our sources who were getting information from foreign intelligence agencies. This is a counterintelligence investigation, closely held.
Did your sources see the intercepts for themselves, or are they passing along information from other people?
The sources have, some of the sources have government sources, and some of the sources are people who have told us that they have trusted intelligence type sources that they get information from. We don't know the specifics, but we have used these sources on many subjects, and they have been very accurate.
So, you know, that sounds a lot like the Steele dossier. I reread the Steele dossier today. I told you that today. Because the reality is, if your sources didn't see the intercepts themselves, did they let you see them?
Did they let us?
Did they pass? Have you seen the intercepts?
No. So
what we have then is that the sources have been used before, and they're saying that they were told that these intercepts exist.
That is true.
So have they? What kind of evidence did they provide you for you to feel confident that this was something that you're willing to put McClatchy's name on?
Well, for one thing, we got numbers. We have 4 sources who've told us about this, and for another, we have read our beginning of our story to some of these sources to make absolutely certain we've gone over it and over it and over it. We worked on this story for months. Did your sources come to you and say, hey, we have this new information, or did you go to them asking? Well, it's been a dialogue for a long time. So, mm-hmm. you know, and my partner, Peter Stone, did some of this sleuthing, but we both are well acquainted with the sources. Yep. And I would say we developed some of these, some of this came from foreign sources, and those people, one of those people talked to us over a long period of time before he provided a drop of information. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I guess the reason that I'm asking is because we know that there is a possibility that sometimes sources have motives for putting things out, and one of those motives might be to get McClatchy to run a story like this, even if it isn't true. Is there any concern at all that people might have had a motivation to try to get you to run a story that was sort of an Ada in Prague situation, where it didn't happen, but they want it printed? Well, that's not the kind of dialogue we've had that would create that kind of suspicion because of the people that we've been working with. But you always have to be wary of disinformation. What I would say about disinformation, we just think about the dossier and Michael Cohen, because mm-hmm. this whole Cohen episode, the reason it's got so much attention is that Mueller has not yet charged anybody with collusion or any crime right. Equating to collusion. Mm-hmm. And so what this meeting or purported meeting mm-hmm. in Prague could mean is the first strong evidence of some sort of collusion. Mm-hmm. We're a long way from there. We don't even know beyond the fact that his cell phone appeared to show up in the Prague area. We don't even know if there was a meeting. But this is coupled with some intelligence from an Eastern European intelligence agency that picked up this conversation. Michael Cohen is in Prague from a Russian official, we believe a senior Russian official.
And I guess my exit question to you would be, is there anything that you were able to actually physically see for yourselves that corroborated what these four sources were telling you? Anything that looked, the intercepts that would give you some further evidence beyond their word?
I wish we had. We held out for a while for that, and there came a time when we thought we had a critical mass. It is a competitive business.
Yeah, it is indeed. Greg